As someone who's been interested in content creation for a while now, there have been quite a few times in which I've consumed a piece of media, a video game, a YouTube video, a passing conversation with a friend, and part of it will get stuck in the back of my mind. A lingering sense that, hey, there's probably more that could be said about this topic, that will sit in the back of my head for a while, bouncing around with new pieces of media that I consume. And a while back I watched a video by Errant Signal, in which he discussed his relationship with Fortnite. Long story short, it's an understandably complicated one. On one front, it's a dubiously designed series of systems used to squeeze engagement and money out of kids, which is, well, bad. On the other hand, though, the way in which some of those systems are designed, they can be genuinely good for some of the players. Interesting, engaging, enjoyable stuff. And it's that second half that got sticky noted in the back of my brain as months passed and I started to play other video games. Recently, I started playing Escape from Tarkov, a game that touts itself as a hyper-realistic military sim in which players battle over what little loot can be scrounged from various locations. And, understandably, at first glance, Tarkov and Fortnite share little past being games that have guns in them. They look dramatically differently, they treat their players dramatically differently, how long it takes to kill someone, how you interact with the world, who the intended audience is. I think you get the point. But also, as I played, I couldn't help but notice some of the same systems that were discussed in Errant Signal's video were being played out right in front of me. Those same systems were part of what was engaging me most in Tarkov. So, what's the deal here? Let's firstly back up and discuss just what's up with Fortnite. For those who somehow missed the still ongoing mass cultural bubble around Fortnite, it's a battle royale, a style of game in which players are dropped into a huge fighting arena, all starting on equal footing, and all fighting to be the last surviving individual or team. Which, if you approach broadly as a concept, seems pretty hardcore. Unsurprisingly, some of the earliest battle royale games, and some of the most popular ones now, both lean heavily into the serious nature of this concept, with post-apocalyptic vibes, quick and deadly firefights. I'm not exactly inclined to describe them as super kid-friendly spaces. Like, Jesus, you'd think turning a guy into red mist in your trailer is a little overkill. It's important then to make note how much Fortnite does everything in its power to not be like other battle royales. It has an aesthetic designed to mimic cartoons and animations, it has a time to kill that allows for many more mistakes and more movement, and more importantly, it takes as much emphasis off winning the actual battle royale as it can. One of the biggest ways Fortnite does this is through its battle pass, a term I would imagine most people who play multiplayer games are familiar with by now due to their growing popularity. All of the best cosmetics and rewards are tied to the levels of your battle pass, with only a single cosmetic glider being tied to winning one game each season, which is about once every 10 weeks. Instead, the main form of progression is that players will have a series of daily and weekly quests to complete, each handing out a little bit of experience towards your battle pass. However, unlike some of the battle passes we'll find in other games, Fortnite's quests often revolve around doing anything other than killing other players. Players are instead incentivized with that season's theme and new systems. For example, it's currently Chapter 2, Season 7, Invasion, in which aliens have invaded the map and a mysterious group has set up research bases. AI enemies will defend bonus loot, spaceships circle different locations, and by fighting either of those, players can earn powerful weapons and vehicles. By no means do you need to do those things to win Fortnite. In fact, they'll probably distract you and get you killed in the process, but because so much of the progressive emphasis is placed on quests rather than killing other players, players are, in a sense, winning by doing these tasks. It's almost a series of games within the game. Fortnite rewards you for, and therefore makes you look forward to, doing the creative and silly tasks of the day rather than embracing the grimdark war zone that so many other battle royales want players to partake in. And clearly, based on Fortnite's lasting success and profits, the system of using a battle royale merely as a staging ground for their content is perfectly viable. Okay then, so Fortnite's really successful, but what does this have to do with Escape from Tarkov? Like I had alluded to earlier, Fortnite and Tarkov are nearly polar opposites in many, many ways. Tarkov has its players loaded into what it calls raids, multiplayer matches in which players are given a chosen map to explore and loot alongside other players and a dash of AI combatants. While similar to a battle royale in that you don't have any friends and are very unlikely to earn yourself any allies on the battlefield, players can, however, leave at any time through a few set locations and can bring in items they've previously escaped a raid with. The TTK is also incredibly low, guns of course being rather deadly, encouraging guerrilla warfare, ambushing, firefights, you name it. That being said, good luck killing the guy wearing 2.5 million rubles worth of Kevlar and carrying a gun with more ammo in one mag than you have in your entire stash if he hears you coming. It's a game in which you can go from 0 to hero, or hero to 0 in an instant. It's a game that can feel amazing, or soul-crushing. Talk to any Tarkov player, and they will have stories of some of their greatest gaming achievements, and some of their worst days coming out of Tarkov. The thing is, though, I've never much enjoyed that level of volatility in my games. It's stressful knowing that good or bad things can happen depending on how you play and who you run into that day. The thing that kept me most coming back to Tarkov each day was the exact same thing that made me remember Errant Signal's video on Fortnite. The Kappa Quest. See, Tarkov has an item set called the Secure Container, which is a pouch that lets you carry things in and out of raids even if you die. The thing is, it's really small, like really, really small. But you can earn bigger ones by completing some of the hardest quests in the game, culminating in the Kappa Quest, where upon completion of nearly every quest in the game, you get to do a huge collectathon to earn this quite impressive upgrade. There are dozens of quests you need to do to unlock the final quest to earn your Kappa, and for a game as different as Tarkov is from Fortnite, I can't help but find parallels. There are quests ranging from killing AI characters, looting specific items, going to specific buildings, wearing specific equipment, all getting progressively harder with progression through rewards as you earn your Kappa. And don't you see it? This is the same as doing those quests to earn a seasonal Battle Pass skin in Fortnite. While one may be cosmetic and another affects gameplay, that's really only a reflection of the type of game they come from. Each is using goals outside the traditional winning of their format to push players to play. Each game offers secondary objectives that allow players to progress in ways outside of the stressful main goals of those games. While Fortnite might be marketed on its victory royale, and Tarkov on its 0 to hero moments, players still might have fun completing tasks on their own. It all helps to make sure that players, even at their worst, might have the ability to get a reward, and players at their best can achieve even more. As someone who's been playing a lot of multiplayer games, I can't help but see how incredibly valuable that system sounds like it could be. Let's take a moment to talk about some other competitive games. Long have many of the most popular competitive games struggled with one major issue: toxicity. Players will turn on their teams, the developers, the systems, anything that they can feel is to blame for them having a rough day of gaming. And honestly, it makes sense. A lot of these games will put huge emphasis on beating your opponent, ranking up, on how good your stats are, so it's no surprise that players will get stressed out when things don't go their way. People want to be winning, and when they aren't, they get upset. Developers have tried countless ways to try and combat this type of negative energy in their games, allowing for anything from honoring or commending players in League or Dota, to not showing team-wide stats in Overwatch, to even having a little post-round MVP tag in Counter-Strike that can play a little musical ditty of the associated player's choice. All of these systems are desperately attempting to try and improve on the mood of their players by highlighting the positive plays and downplaying the negative ones. But honestly, not to much avail. The thing is, when these games put so much emphasis on rank and win rate above all else, no little steps to try and paint over it with a glossy finish will help solve that problem. These games need the same type of systems that Fortnite and Tarkov have, not just because they're good ways to introduce cosmetics and rewards, but because they can help to alleviate some of the anxiety around winning by diversifying the game's goals. It can help to make it so that all players feel like they have a chance to win. I like to envision it sort of as a graph, where here we have all the possible outcomes of a few games. At the top, the best games of your life. You hard carried a match, you ranked up, you got the big dub, whatever vernacular you want to use to try and describe a series of wins. On the other, we have the worst. Losing all your gear, multiple losses in a row, toxic teammates, just an all-around awful day of gaming. Right in the middle, a boring neutral day. The thing about multiplayer games in general really, is that it's this top half here that keeps players coming back. It's those stories of pulling off something awesome, the hope of having a fun night with your friends, or just the feeling of doing something cool that keeps players queuing up. When we dream about gaming, these are the experiences we're looking forward to. The problem is that this bottom half exists, and at least some of these games are the reasons players want to quit, the reason players get mad at their teams, the reason that online gaming communities can be so toxic. As I see it, if we can prop up these games on a background system that rewards players, then the best days get better, you get the Victory Royale and the John Wick skin in one night, and the worst days still get improved by knowing that at least you got a little bit of XP towards your battle pass. Which is better than nothing. Interestingly, some of these developers have actually already begun to implement versions of battle passes or quests into their games, though it seems like many of them have missed the mark on exactly why they should be doing this. Let's take a look at Dota and LoL's implementations and just where both of them fall short with what exactly they should be doing. Dota 2 uses a system known as Dota Plus, a monthly subscription for just a few dollars that unlocks a couple of interesting things, and honestly, some of them are actually really good. Firstly, it uncaps a system called hero leveling, a shiny badge of honor that a player can earn to show just how much they've committed to playing that specific hero. There comes with it an innate level of prestige. When you see someone with a level 30 badge above their head, you know they're probably gonna mess you up. There are two ways to earn XP towards your hero levels, the most obvious by just playing the hero, but alongside that, players will get assigned weekly quests for each hero. They're randomly assigned out of a decent-sized list for each hero, usually focused around getting some optimizations out of the actions players will usually make when playing that character. Carries will get suggested to farm a lot, tanks should buy an item that they normally use well or hit a good engage, supports for dewarding or getting assists. It's actually quite good in the ways that it both reminds players of what they should be doing and rewards them for doing it. There are also relics, or permanent stat trackers that players can use to see how many times they've done something good on their hero of choice. So this is sounding great so far, right? Here's where things start to fall apart. Those hero quests we just spoke about, they're tied to winning. So not only do players need to perform well, they need to win too. If the intention of this system was to try and take the focus off the stress of winning, well, it's doing the exact opposite by sticking them together. Hero relics too have a problem. They're often slow to earn and specific to each hero, meaning if you play someone new, you're very unlikely to have the currency to unlock all of them, so half the time they go unused. And even if you do manage to unlock them all, some are outdated and bugged. It's a nice system waylaid by arbitrary gatekeeping and a lack of care. The worst of all, though, is that Dota hides crucial game information behind its battle pass, such as detailed information about the player's deaths, recommended items, post-game analytics, detailed hero analytics. That's right, you can't find out what you took damage from if you died without paying Valve a monthly fee. It's crazy. They openly advertise this on their website, that you need to pay them to get access to this information. No other competitive game I can think of could get away with this. Clearly, Valve has good ideas for good ways to positively reinforce its players, but leaves the system imperfect and underdeveloped, tacking on vital information so that players purchase it. With extra work, I could see it being a fantastic system, but for now, it's just doing more harm than good. On to League of Legends and its event-based battle passes. Starting as early as 2016, and only more commonly as time has gone on, League has been using various in-game events to also sell battle passes. League's events usually started by accompanying major real-world holidays such as Halloween or the Lunar New Year, but rapidly came to fill in almost any gap in the year that they could, usually releasing alongside that of a popular skin line as justification for doing so. As you can see, the density of events has only increased the longer this format has been going on. Many of the earliest events were accompanied by something new or interesting to highlight the theme of them, and admittedly some still do, looking at you, dating sim event, but many more of them are just similarly designed launch pads for their Hextech crafting system. Most follow as such, either through free quests provided by the Battle Pass, or by playing the game generally. Players will earn a series of tokens that they can spend on the event for various rewards. Some fairly cheap and small, others being loot boxes with a chance to have any skin in the game, and at the highest tier, the prestige skin for that event. Prestige skins are golden variants of one of the skins from the event, usually the most popular one, and represent a true dedication to playing League. To earn one, though, someone calculated on average a player either needs to spend $195 or play 115 hours to amass the tokens needed. The thing is, you have 4.5 weeks to do this. That's right, after paying Riot $20 to access the quests, you need to play 115 hours in 4.5 weeks. That's 3.7 hours a day, or just under half a full-time job, just to earn a skin, and no other rewards because you would have spent all your tokens. Don't worry though, you can always shell out some part of nearly $200 to get it if you don't have the time. If you can't do either of those things, it's just gone. The skin is gone from your grasp. You can't get it anymore unless it maybe comes out as a bonus reward at the end of the year. This is weaponized FOMO at its worst. If you love the skin or the character that it's on for that event, you aren't joyously completing some quests for bonus rewards, you're desperately trying to complete them and win in order to get the skin before it's gone forever. It completely misses the point of having bonus objectives for the player to do by holding the rewards hostage and demanding constant attention from its players, ruining the whole point of having it in the first place. It's probably for the best at this point that we address the worst thing about battle passes. See, they can be great. Quests for players to complete can add to the fun and make everyone's day better. An all-around awesome addition to the game. But they carry the dangerous ability to be weaponized against their players, holding huge amounts of content over their head in return for constant engagement. In situations like League's, many of its positive reasons are overshadowed by ones fueled by the monetary drive of the company making these choices. Because battle passes have shown an ability to be so effective when used correctly, it's no surprise that some companies will try and use them incorrectly to try and squeeze out the same, if not even more, money from their users. Even one of the original examples from the start of this video, Fortnite, is more than a little guilty of using its battle pass format alongside time limits to instill that sense of FOMO, demanding constant attention from its holders who don't want to risk missing out on a piece of content they really want to work for. It's a dangerous game that can leave users who these systems were designed for more harmed than anything else, pulling out those potential rewards right from under their feet like time-gated events tend to do. It's a complete failure of the system and an absolute disservice. So, what's the takeaway after all of this? For developers and aspiring developers, it might be to diversify the goals of their games, adding more ways for players to feel like they're actually accomplishing things, and making them reasonably different or interesting enough that players want to do them, can help players feel like there's a way to escape the disappointment of some of those worst days of gaming. For players, we need to hold companies accountable for the systems they use with us. If a developer is twisting and corrupting a system that was supposed to make the game more fun, get mad about it. Get up in arms and seek change. There are countless examples in the past of enough players rebelling against a developer that it's simply easier and better PR to just make the change in favor of the players than trying to keep forcing the lame practice onto them. Perhaps in due time, we'll have games that everyone can truly enjoy and battle passes that will truly help to deliver content in a fun way. But until then, we can at least hope. So yeah, that's the end of my first video. My first video ever, in fact. This is my first time editing. I've written a lot of stuff before, but never in video format, so I guess that's new, that's fun. Hopefully you liked it, it came out well. I hope so, I think so. This is the first of probably 4 or 5 more videos I have planned right now. I've got a good quests in bad games, kind of looking at Fallout 76 and some other games. I have one on our nature of exploring literature through the lens of Amori, a psychological horror game. Player expectations and game balance for League of Legends, which is mostly a really old rant for a lot of my friends about a character in specific, Yumi, but there's a lot more to be said there. And then the last one that will take the longest is the changing landscape of popular games, primarily through the lens of Resident Evil, and how they changed the way they were trying to market their games over the last 2 decades. But that one's a lot of research, a lot of market research, a lot of old advertising research. It's quite a hassle, but yeah, I think this one came out good. I think it's a good place to start. Hopefully you enjoyed it, like I said. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. That's what they say. The bell button, I think. Yeah. I'll get back to work then.